Hello, beautiful soul. There are moments in history when the voice of a single woman rises above the noise of war, fear, and doubt. When her words cut through the storm like lightning, illuminating the path of destiny. She was not a queen, yet kings bowed before her wisdom. She was not a warrior, yet armies marched at her command. She was not a ruler, yet she judged the fate of nations. Her name was Deborah. She lived in the 12th century BCE in ancient Israel, a time when her people were trapped under the iron fist of oppression. The land groaned beneath the weight of suffering, and the warriors of Israel had forgotten their strength. And then she rose. A prophetess, a judge, a voice of God's justice and truth. She did not wield a sword. She wielded something greater. Prophecy, vision, the unwavering force of divine certainty. And through her, the will of heaven thundered upon the earth. Today, we listen. Today, we stand at the foot of her palm tree, where she delivered justice. And through her, we remember what it means to rise. The palm of Deborah, the prophetess who judged kings. Imagine this, a woman seated beneath a towering palm tree, her eyes sharp as the desert sky, her presence undeniable. Around her, men, leaders, warriors, elders, come seeking judgment. They kneel before her not out of duty, but out of reverence. For Deborah was not a ruler by birth. She was a judge chosen by God, the only female judge in the history of Israel. And in those days, a judge was more than a mere giver of laws. A judge was a beacon of divine will, a guide for an entire people, a living testament to what was just and true. She was their wisdom, she was their conscience, and she was fearless. She did not ask for power. It was bestowed upon her because she was the only one bold enough to carry it. And when the time came for war, it was she, not a king, not a warrior, who called the nation to battle. The call to war, awakening the forgotten lion. For 20 years, the people of Israel lived in chains. The Canaanite king Jabin and his ruthless commander Sisera ruled over them with an iron fist. Their warriors were broken, their spirits crushed. But Deborah heard the voice of God, and it said, "The time has come." She called for Barak, a commander of Israel's army. She looked into his eyes and spoke with the voice of prophecy. "Take 10,000 men and rise. God has delivered Sisera into your hands." But Barak hesitated. He had warriors, he had weapons, but he did not have faith. "I will go," he said, "but only if you go with me." And Deborah did not falter. She did not shrink into silence. She did not say, "This is not my place." She stood. "I will go," she answered. "But know this, the victory will not belong to you. Sisera will fall, but not by the hand of a man." She knew. She saw. The divine will had already spoken, and fate was already in motion. The battle and the woman who struck down a tyrant. The warriors of Israel marched. And when Sisera's mighty army, armed with iron chariots, met them in the valley, the earth trembled. A great storm rose. The rivers swelled. The chariots of the enemy, built for the dry desert ground, sank into the mud, useless. Panic, chaos, defeat. The mighty Sisera fled on foot, abandoning his men, running for his life. But fate was waiting for him. A woman named Jael welcomed him into her tent, offering shelter, offering rest. And when he lay down, exhausted, she drove a tent peg through his skull, a prophecy fulfilled. The victory did not belong to a man. It belonged to a woman. It belonged to divine justice. And Deborah? She sang. She lifted her voice in triumph, her words shaking the heavens, her song of victory echoing through time. The earth trembled, the heavens poured, the mountains melted before the Lord. Villages lay abandoned until I, Deborah, arose, until I arose, a mother in Israel. She did not take credit. She did not boast. She honored the divine force that moved through her, the power that awakens the sleeping, strengthens the weak, and topples tyrants. The message of Deborah: when you are called, rise. Now hear me, beautiful soul. What does Deborah whisper to you across time? She tells you, there will come a moment when you are called. It may not be in battle, it may not be before nations, but there will be a moment when justice needs a voice, when truth needs a defender, when fear must be silenced. And when that moment comes, will you rise? Because here is the truth. Deborah did not wait for permission. She did not wait for a man to lead. She did not say, "This is not my place." She took her place. And because she did, an entire nation was freed. So tell me, beautiful soul, what chains will break when you stand? What fear will fall when you speak? What victory is waiting, not for another, but for you? When the time comes, will you rise? Closing reflection, the fire that never dies. So today, we honor Deborah, the prophetess, the judge, the voice of courage, the flame of justice. Her palm tree may no longer stand. Her song may have faded from the earth, but her fire still burns. It burns in you. It burns in every soul that refuses to be silenced. It burns in every moment when the world trembles, waiting for someone to stand. And so, until next time, may you never shrink when you are called. May you never silence your truth. May you rise as Deborah rose. And may justice always walk in your shadow.